Hello, my dear Libra. Someone tried to interfere with your destiny. They took your photo or your Namito, a black-haired witch, hoping to tamper with your energy, to open a spiritual door they were never meant to touch. But what happened next? They didn't see it coming. They saw something terrifying. And they ran. This isn't just a story. This is a message from the universe. A sacred alert. A confirmation that your soul cannot be touched by darkness because you are being protected by a power they couldn't even understand. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is not your ordinary horoscope reading. This is a deeply guided message for those born under the sign of Libra, especially for those who felt something shift, something unseen yet unmistakable. If you've been wondering why your sleep has been broken, why your chest feels heavy, or why tears rise for no reason at all, you're not losing control. You're remembering who you are. Your soul was reacting to something. Your light was defending itself. And today, we speak not just of warning but of power. Of a light that cannot be cursed. Because you, Libra, were born under the sign of the scales, not just of beauty and balance, but of cosmic justice. And when someone tries to break the natural order that surrounds you, the universe steps in. Swiftly. Unapologetically. The witch tried to read you. To pull you open like a book. But she couldn't. Because behind you stood a divine grandmother spirit, a matriarch of your lineage, calm and unwavering, with eyes that see beyond illusion. This spirit, your spiritual guardian, stepped forward. And in that moment, the spell collapsed on itself. Let me ask you this. Have you felt like something or someone has been watching you lately? Have you had vivid dreams, flashes of faces, or a strange urge to retreat and protect your energy? That's not just a coincidence. That's the sacred protection doing its work. But here's the truth. What was meant to harm you only proved how untouchable you really are. And that's the message for you today. Libra, I just want to take a moment and thank you with all my heart for being here. Every like, every comment, every subscribe you offer, whether you realize it or not, pulls you deeper into this sacred circle we've built together. Your support allows messages like this to reach more souls. It allows healing to ripple outward. It keeps this spiritual light alive. So let me ask you, what called you here today? What made you click on this video at this exact moment in time? If something inside you feels like you were meant to hear this, if your intuition is nodding in silence, then I invite you to comment below these words. My light is protected. My soul cannot be controlled. By writing it, you're not just affirming it or reactivating it. You're letting the universe know, I remember now. I am not alone. And trust me, Libra. You'll want to stay until the very last moment of this reading. Because what the universe is about to reveal next about your past, your protection, and the love that's coming will shift how you see your life forever. Now, are you ready to open the door? Let's begin. Sometimes, what seems like an attack is actually a revelation, one that shows you just how powerful your presence truly is. What happened to you, dear Libra, wasn't merely someone meddling with spiritual forces. It was a moment where your energetic boundaries proved stronger than even dark intentions. They brought your image to a black-haired witch, hoping to interfere with your path, to open a door that was never meant for them. But the moment they tried, something happened, something they didn't expect. Imagine a space dimly lit, a single candle flickering under pressure, shadows dancing unnaturally on the walls. This wasn't imagination. This was energy reacting. The candle cracked, the air thickened, the woman's hands trembled. Not because she summoned something dangerous, but because she touched something divine. Your energy field, Libra, is not easily accessed. It is a layered construct, built over lifetimes, shaped by your integrity, and sealed by invisible agreements made long before this moment. And when someone crosses a boundary they have no permission to cross, reality responds. In the language of energy, what we saw was the tower crumbling, what wasn't aligned, and the high priestess, guarding sacred knowledge. Together, they represent exactly what happened. Someone tried to peer into the unknown, and was met with a force far greater than their intentions. They didn't find a crack. They found a wall of light, woven with wisdom and ancient strength. And it terrified them. From an energetic perspective, every soul carries a signature. Yours, Libra, is particularly refined. You are ruled by Venus, the planet of balance, beauty, and inner harmony. That alone makes you naturally radiant. But what many forget is that true harmony is not softness without strength, it's calm that refuses to be shaken. And when someone seeks to twist that essence, they encounter not chaos, but a silence so powerful it breaks illusion. This is what they ran from. You may be asking, why now? Why would someone attempt this now? And the answer lies in what you're becoming. You're moving through a spiritual evolution, and like any rising light, you're becoming more visible not just to allies, but to energies that don't understand you. This doesn't mean you're in danger. Quite the opposite. It means you're glowing brighter, and what isn't aligned can't stand too close without being exposed. In color therapy, protective frequencies often come through indigo, pearl white, and silver. These aren't just hues theory's symbolic representations of intuition, clarity, and reflective protection. Indigo strengthens the third eye, your inner knowing. Pearl white softens your aura while making it impenetrable. Silver reflects projection back to its source, without needing confrontation. Wearing these or meditating with their imagery will enhance the natural boundary you already possess. The numbers 7, 11, and 22 have surfaced for you not as coincidence, but as reminders. 7 is the seeker of truth. 11 is the intuitive mirror. 22 is the master builder, the soul that came to construct something eternal. These numbers confirm what the ritual couldn't corrupt. Your path is aligned with purpose, and interference only reveals how sacred your work is. So instead of fear, let this moment anchor you. When people attempt to control what they don't understand, they often discover that light cannot be bent. You didn't have to fight, argue, or defend yourself. Your essence did that for you. That is grace in action. And as a gentle reminder whispered from generations past, when the world pushes against you, stand still in your truth. Not everything needs your reaction, sometimes your silence is the thunder. Let this be a turning point where you realize that your energy isn't just beautiful, it's protected, layered, and ancient. And no force on earth can rewrite a soul contract sealed by divine timing. Stay grounded in that truth, and know, you were never meant to be controlled. You were meant to lead. You may not have seen her, but she's been there watching, steady, loving in a way that doesn't demand, only offers. That presence behind you, the one you felt in quiet moments or in dreams you couldn't explain, wasn't your imagination. It was a force older than memory and stronger than fear. What stood between you and the harm intended wasn't a wall of resistance, it was a lineage of unconditional love, embodied in the form of a woman who has walked this earth before you, perhaps many generations ago, and still walks with you now in silence. This isn't about spirits or mysticism. It's about the strength that runs through your blood. About the quiet power of the ancestors whose choices shaped the way you stand today. The image of a Grand Mothra silver-haired woman whose gaze is soft but unflinching carries more than sentiment. It symbolizes legacy. Wisdom. The kind of grounded awareness that only comes from having endured and still chosen grace over bitterness. She is not just a memory, she is a reminder that you belong to something larger than a single moment. In the energy of Libra, there is an ancient desire for harmony, not the kind that avoids conflict, but the kind that transforms chaos into clarity. And that is precisely what this guardian figure represents. She does not interfere in your life because you're weak. She shows up because you're important. Because your energy holds influence, and the ripple you create when you're fully in your truth is part of a much larger wave. Not everyone has a guardian like this. But you do. And it's not because you earned it, it's because your journey was chosen with purpose. There are moments in life when we feel exposed, vulnerable, or as if something unseen is working against us. But this presence, this protector, is a reminder that we're never walking alone. Even when you forgot your strength, she didn't. Even when you gave up on yourself for a moment, she stood watch. There's a kind of faith that doesn't shout, it simply stays. Like the steady flame of a candle that won't go out, even when the wind howls. From a cosmic perspective, this kind of protective energy shows up in birth charts as powerful placements in the 4th or 12th houses, those quiet corners of the soul where memory and intuition live. It might show as a moon in Cancer, or a trine between Venus and Saturn, something that ties love and responsibility together. But even if your chart doesn't say it plainly, your story does. The fact that you're here, still intact, even after someone tried to disturb your light, is proof of that. And maybe you've had dreams lately, ones with symbols you didn't quite understand. Maybe a woman appeared but didn't speak. Maybe you woke up with a sense of comfort that didn't match the world around you. These aren't just dreams. They're connections. Echoes. Sometimes when life gets too loud, our ancestors speak to us in the quiet between thoughts. And if you've ever woken up with tears in your eyes and a sense of being held, it may have been her. You don't have to believe in ghosts to believe in love that never leaves. It's easy to forget, in a fast-moving world, that we're part of something older and more rooted than algorithms or chaos. But even scripture whispers the same truth: you are never forsaken, never truly abandoned. Grace has ways of moving that don't need to be explained to be real. And when someone tries to interfere with a soul like yours, they don't just meet resistance, they meet legacy. If you've ever seen her, maybe in a dream, maybe just a feeling you couldn't name, share it in the comments. Let someone else know they're not alone either. Maybe your story is the confirmation someone else needs to remember their own. Some signals don't come in the form of words or visions, they show up in your body, quietly but persistently, asking to be heard. Perhaps you've been feeling unusually restless at night, as though something is pressing on your chest or hovering just at the edge of your sleep. Maybe your shoulders ache, or your breath feels shorter than usual. Maybe, for no clear reason, tears arrive when no one else is looking. If that sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're not weak. You're responding deeply, naturalito, a shift in your energetic field. When someone attempts to interfere with your energetic path, especially without your consent, your body often feels it before your mind does. The human energy field, or aura, operates like a filter and a shield that senses subtle changes in the environment and protects you from what isn't aligned. For someone like you, Libra, ruled by Venus and naturally attuned to harmony and balance, any disruption, even unspoken or unseen, can throw off that internal rhythm. But the beauty is this: your soul knows how to protect itself. Even when your conscious mind is unaware, your deeper system activates softly but powerfully to reroute, cleanse, and defend. This is what you've been feeling lately. Not symptoms. Not illness. But recalibration. Energetically, this mirrors the message of the Four of Swords in Tarot. A time when the body asks for stillness not because it's lazy, but because it's intelligent. Rest here is not avoidance. It's a sacred pause. A moment to integrate. When your body feels heavy or your breath feels trapped, it could be a cue that your field is working overtime to clear interference. The best thing you can do in these moments is to listen. Give your body and spirit the spaciousness they need to return to alignment. Practical shifts can support this process. Begin with your evening routine. A warm glass of water before bed helps ground the nervous system and gently supports the kidneys, which carry emotional residue. Avoiding cold food after sunset, especially for energetically sensitive people, helps the body maintain internal warmth, which is crucial for relaxation and release. Soft stretching or 5 minutes of mindful breathing with your hand over your heart can help you tune back into yourself. When you lie down, imagine a soft white light entering from the top of your head, moving slowly down your spine, clearing tension, and wrapping your body in a cocoon of quiet peace. These are not tricks. They are small shifts that honor the very real relationship between your energy, your body, and your boundaries. And here's something even gentler to remember: what your body is doing right now is not punishment. It's wisdom. It's saying, you are more than what you think. And I'm here to show you where you need rest, not because you're failing but because you're healing. Even scripture reminds us, in subtle ways, that we are vessels, temples to be cared for, not just spiritually but physically. Restoration isn't just a weekend ritual, it's a daily practice of returning home to yourself. If your chest has felt heavy, perhaps it's because it's carrying more than its share. If your back aches, maybe it's because you've been holding the weight of unspoken things for too long. Let this be your permission to put them down, even just for a night. And if any of this resonates with you, if your body has been speaking a language you're only now beginning to understand, I invite you to share it. Comment below. There's no shame in feeling. There's strength in noticing. What your body reveals might just be what someone else needs to feel seen too. Sometimes, what lingers isn't the presence of someone but the weight of what they once represented. There may be someone from your past who continues to think about you, not because they want to return in love, but because they're trying to understand how you've managed to grow so much without them. This person might not say it out loud, but their energy still reaches for yours from afar, confused, envious, perhaps even slightly regretful. They expected your light to dim when they left. They thought their absence would leave you lost, unraveling. But instead, something powerful happened. Their exit ignited your fire. You didn't collapse. You expanded. This is where energetic maturity shows itself, Libra. Growth doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it whispers quietly through choices you now make differently. Where you once would have bent yourself to be accepted, you now stand firm. Where you once would have waited for their validation, you now find peace in your own reflection. You didn't just survive what they put you through, you transcended it. And here's the truth they're struggling to grasp: you are no longer in the same frequency they once knew. They might still reach toward your energy, but it won't answer anymore. It's not that you're bitter. It's that your soul no longer speaks that language. This is the blessing of detachment, not coldness, but clarity. In therapy, we often talk about emotional enmeshment, where your worth feels tied to someone else's recognition of it. Breaking free from that pattern doesn't mean you stop loving. It means you finally start loving yourself more. The one who couldn't honor you wasn't your enemy. They were your initiation. And you passed the test with grace. Now, you're standing on the threshold of a new kind of relationship. One that won't require you to shrink, filter, or contort yourself in order to be loved. You won't be asked to soften your glow to make someone else comfortable. True love, the kind that mirrors your growth instead of competing with itis approaching. But it can only find you when you've made peace with what you've left behind. From the perspective of the law of attraction, this is essential. You attract not what you want but what you are. And if you're still emotionally entangled with someone who doesn't honor your worth, even silently, that energetic cord can block the path of someone who would. Releasing isn't about forgetting. It's about creating space. And only when there's space can something new, pure, and aligned find room to flourish. The divine often guides us away from people not out of cruelty, but protection. Sometimes the door is closed not to punish you but to protect your calling. You are not being rejected. You are being redirected towards something higher, better, deeper. So if lately you've felt those ghostly echoes, dreams of someone, random thoughts about a person you thought you were done with, pause and ask yourself, are you still giving them access to a part of your spirit? If so, this might be the perfect moment to finally reclaim your space. You are not a memory someone can visit whenever they please. You are a sanctuary now, and not everyone is meant to enter. If you've sensed someone energetically tugging on your field, and you're ready to let go for good, comment below with the flame symbol to affirm. You've burned through the past, and you're walking forward in light. ChatGPT.noi. Not every door needs to be opened by someone else. And not every breakthrough comes with applause. Sometimes, the most important shift in your life begins quietly with the realization that you've been holding the key all along. After everything you've endured, Libra, you now find yourself standing at the edge of something entirely new. A new frequency. A new way of living. In your hand, there is a golden key, subtle but powerful. It wasn't handed to you by a mentor, a partner, or a savior. It was forged through your resilience, your healing, your choices. This is a soul-made key. You didn't chase this moment, it arrived because you became the version of yourself who could receive it. That's the quiet reward of self-alignment. When you stop waiting for permission, the universe stops testing you and starts trusting you. This isn't the kind of journey that ends with someone rescuing you or unlocking the gates for you. You've already outgrown that narrative. There's no one coming to save you, and beautifully, there's no need. Because the strength you've built now lives in your hands. You are no longer someone who needs to be validated to move forward. You are no longer someone who lives in cycles of waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself, and that, Libra, is your final liberation. The cards speak clearly here: the World and the Ace of Pentacles. This is not just an ending. It's a graduation. One cycle has closed, and with it, the beliefs, patterns, and relationships that kept you confined. What lies ahead is tangible blessing, new opportunity, financial renewal. But to access that new reality, you must release the frequency of the old one. You must let go of trying to explain yourself to those who were never listening. You must stop draining your resources, both emotional and financial, on people who do not live in energetic integrity. That includes no longer accepting guidance from those who haven't done their own healing. It's okay to walk alone if that's what clarity requires. Financially, this is your moment to stabilize and be intentional. Clean up your spending. Avoid lending your time, money, or energy to those who drain your peace. Consider that every dollar you invest, every project you commit to, every emotional connection you engage in is either expanding or restricting your future. The key to abundance isn't just income, it's alignment. Professionally, if your current role feels like it's dimming your essence, listen. Burnout is not a badge of honor. It's a message. A new direction is calling. It may not be loud or obvious, but it's persistent, like a soft knocking on the door of your next chapter. You don't need to leap blindly, but you must begin to pivot. Physically, your body is asking for rhythm, not reaction. It no longer wants to be dragged by urgency and pressure. It wants attunement, warm water, deep breaths, real sleep, gentle movement. Your body is no longer compatible with the chaos you once normalized. So here you are, Libra, standing before the doorway of your sacred chapter. No one else can walk through it for you. And no one else is meant to. You are not behind. You are not late. You are finally on time for yourself. If you can feel the presence of that golden key in your palm, if you know deep within that a new doorway has already appeared, then affirm it with power. Comment below, "I am ready to enter my sacred chapter." Let it be known. Let it be witnessed. Because once you take this step, there's no going back. And beautifully, you won't want to. There is something profoundly liberating in realizing that no one else gets to define your light. The people who tried to shape your fate by reaching into spaces they didn't belong, those who carried your name or image into the shadows, thought they could control what they didn't understand. But what they encountered was not fear. It wasn't darkness. It was something far more powerful, a soul that cannot be manipulated. A field of truth they could not pierce. A force that stood not in aggression, but in sacred, silent authority. Libra, they ran not because of what surrounded you, but because of what lives within you. That moment, though unseen by you, was pivotal. The trembling of the space, the shattered intention, the broken ritual that wasn't just cosmic protection. It was a sacred memory, reawakened. A soul contract written long before this lifetime. One that says, no harm shall enter here. You may not always feel it in your day-to-day life, but your energy field carries this lineage. A kind of divine sovereignty that makes it impossible for falsehood to root itself in your path. And the more you reclaim it, the stronger it becomes. Everything we've explored in this reading points back to one ultimate truth. You are no longer the one seeking light, you are the light. You are no longer waiting for rescue, you are your own liberation. The invisible guardian who once watched over you has now passed the torch. And it is your turn to lead, to create, to choose. You are the key. You are the door. And you are the decision that opens everything. So what now, beloved soul? Will you continue dimming your essence just to be acceptable in someone else's limited reality? Or will you rise in the fullness of your radiance and let the next chapter begin not by chance, but by conscious choice? You see, freedom doesn't always arrive like fireworks. Sometimes, it looks like stillness. Like peace after the storm. Like finally saying no to what drains you and yes to what aligns. Like protecting your time, your joy, your boundaries. Like realizing you don't owe anyone an explanation for growing. Let this be your moment to pause and breathe that truth in. You are not here to please. You are not here to shrink. You are here to embody. To be the soul that remembers. To become the ancestor who chose healing, so the lineage could finally be free. So if this message stirred something within you, don't keep it silent. Let yourself affirm it. Write it below in the comments. I move toward the light that is waiting for me. Let your voice join the constellation of others who are stepping into the new with courage. Thank you for allowing me to walk this path with you today. Your presence matters. Your light matters. And I promise you what you've survived has not been in vain. The universe sees you. The energy around you is shifting. And what's coming next will honor the sacred work you've done to get here. If you found meaning in this message, please like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. You are part of the Zodiac Whisper Tarot family now, and we rise together.